A while back, I went to an office of a friend, and his mother, a 90-year-old woman, was at the front desk, full of vibrancy, alive. She drove herself to work and greeted, graciously people. And I asked her, wow, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. I asked her, where do you live? So she told me. So I said, no, no, you don't live there. Looks at me. Hmm? So I ask her again, where do you live? And she tells me this address, the last 30 plus years, been living at this place. Said, no, you don't live there. Now she's like a little concerned with me. I say, you perhaps eat there and sleep there, but where you live is right here between, yeah, the temples of your head and your mind. That's where we live. Our thoughts, what we contemplate, that's where we live. That's where we live. So, where do holy angels live? Hmm. Where do we live? So, in the thoughts of the person, Baal Shem Tov says, that's where you're found. That's where you're living. So, if you're living with Tanya means you're thinking it. Thinking words of Torah, that's what you live with. If you think words of insignificance or negativity in your head, well, that's where you're living. It's not only where you're visiting, right? But that's where you live. So, yeah, it's a good question to ask ourselves, of course. Welcome to Tanya today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you for Chabad Zichron Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We begin the 39th chapter. This chapter continuation from the previous chapter, speaking about intent, kavanah. What is our mindfulness? Where are we living? Where's our head when it comes to life? In particular, when it comes to doing a mitzvah. So, based on what we've learned, there's two types of kavanah we learned in chapter 38. That which is analogous to an animal, that which is analogous to a human being. A human being, the uniqueness of a human being is the mind, right? That we can have mind dominion over the heart, that we can do the opposite of what our natural instinct is by knowing something. And even though it may be a challenge, it may be difficult, it may be going against our instinct, but we could go against it, right? You might be hungry right now, and instead of giving into that hunger, you're learning. You're focused on learning Tanya. Um, that is then a person who has the capability of an awareness of the greatness of God, one's relationship with God, the value and the meaning of a mitzvah, whatever mitzvah it might be. And that motivates you. That's your mindfulness, your intent to connect to God through, let's say, learning Tanya now. Or that's analogous to human. Animal is instinctual. Animal does things by instinct. That's why animal kingdom hasn't progressed in 5,700 plus years. And it won't progress because it only goes by instinct. Humans have progressed. We've gone up, we've gone down, up and down, right? But animals haven't because they go by instinct. What is that metaphor? Well, we can also serve God with an instinct, the instinct of our soul. Our soul wants to be connected. So we just have to reveal the nature of our inner being, of our soul, of our divine soul. And that's like an animal. In other words, we're doing the instinct that we have to be connected to God and not be disconnected, right? Now, with this reason, then, we can explain why angels are called Chayis HaKodesh, or they're called behemoths. They're called beasts and animals. Why would you call an angel a beast or an animal? Right? Holy animals? Chayis HaKodesh. What does that mean? When we speak about the divine chariot, it's got the face of a lion, the face of an ox, right? What does that mean? Well, it's referring to spiritual beings, angels, that are metaphorically like animals. And that being because they don't have freedom of choice. They can't choose between good and bad. Do they have a fear and love of God? Yes, that's natural to them. Just like the animal has what's natural to them, in their instinct, angels have their instinct. Their instinct, the love and awe of God. Right? But being that it's instinctual, that's why they're compared to animals, and that's why they're called holy animals. Holy angels are holy animals, right? Therefore, the righteous are on a higher level than them. The abode of the righteous is in the world of Bria, the world of creation, as opposed to angels, their abode. You know where they live? In Yetzirah, right? Why? What's the difference between the two worlds? Yetzirah is a world of divine emotion. Emotion, instinctual emotion, right? Divine emotion. So the angels, primarily their place of abode is in what they naturally live with, is their instinct. So it's a world of Yetzirah, the world of formation. The righteous who serve God with an awareness of God, right? They are living in their heads with an awareness of the greatness of God, God as creator, God beyond creation, God in their personal relationship, God in the meaning in this particular mitzvah that I'm engaged in right now, whatever it might be, right? All of that. And therefore, they live in a world of the divine comprehension. Divine comprehension is the world of Bria, the world of creation, where the divine elements of Chachma, Bina, V'das, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, are the pervasive quality in that world. Right? As opposed to the angels, the world of Yitzira, so you have Michael and Gavriel. Michael is the angel of divine kindness, embodying divine kindness, because that what motivates them is the love of God, right? Is that expressed in kindness. And Gavriel, which means giver, the strength of God, which is awe on the left side, representing the Midah of Gvura, which evokes the fear and awe of the divine, right? And again, they're doing this love and awe because that is their natural disposition, their natural inclination of how God created them. They have no freedom of choice to be anything but that, like animals. Right. As opposed to the world of Bria, as we said, that there the divine comprehension, Bina, is what is pervasive in that world. And therefore, that is the abode of the righteous in that world where they are um, where they can perceive the divine. Bina, exactly. That's where they live. So they also have love and awe of God, but their love and awe of God comes from the mind, right?
Do they have freedom of choice?
Of course.
Tzaddik?
Everybody has freedom of choice.
I know it's tzaddik.
You don't lose choice. The choice becomes more refined, right? Think about yourself, right? Think about yourself a year ago, 5 years ago. You had choice. Your choice were much more crude. You become more refined. You still have choice, but they're much more refined, the choices in life, right? So same thing by the righteous. Okay. This is the love called Reusa Daliba, the heart's desire, that the heart desires because it comes from a an awareness through the mind that feeds the heart, and therefore the heart has a love of the divine. As a result, the souls of the righteous, they live in the world of Bria, which is their Gan Eden Ha'elyon, the higher level of the Garden of Eden. Right? So that is neshamas, the higher level of individuals in that world. But then you have those who are on a lower level, the world of the level of ruach, the spirit of their soul, and likewise uh, all those that serve God with a natural fear and love that's hidden in the heart, that was not born out of intellect. Those souls dwell in the world of Yetzirah. Same place as the angels do, right? But we'll see a difference though. However, those souls, when it comes to Shabbos, new moon, Rosh Chodesh, holidays, their souls go from the lower level of Gan Eden, which is in the world of Yetzirah, and those souls go up to the world of Bria, which is the higher level of Gan Eden. Now, those souls go there, but guess who doesn't go there? Who doesn't go there? Angels. Angels stay put where they are in the world of Yetzirah. They don't get to have a greater awareness, a greater connection. Why? Because ultimately, angels didn't choose to make a choice, but the soul that chose to connect to God, not because they understand and appreciate, not with their minds, but because of the hidden love that's in their soul, that they chose to reflect that, to express it in thought, speech, and action. They chose that. Therefore, they're greater than angels. They chose to crush their natural desire of the animal soul and not allow that um, to dominate. Exactly, right? Okay. Not allow it to dominate. And since they chose good over the negativity, the evil of the animal soul, so therefore their souls get to go up and to be absorbed in the light of God, the superior light of God, in the world of Bria, where the righteous are always hanging out. Where the righteous are always hanging out. They get to go there. Not bad, huh? Not bad. No, even if you're not righteous is the point, right? Since if you choose to reveal the natural connection that you have with God, which is based on the soul, it's a hidden love. So you got to reveal that love. How do you reveal it? In your thoughts, in your speech, and in your actions, the garments of the soul. You chose that. And because you chose that, that makes you greater than the angel. You have to overcome your inner darkness, right? You have to turn away from evil. You have to crush the negative desire that you have that would turn you away from revealing your hidden love that you have for God, right? That's a challenge, right? But you did that. So therefore your soul gets to be privy to something greater than what it, kind of accomplished by going up, because on Shabbos, holidays, the world is elevated. What does it mean the world is elevated? Rosh Chodesh, yes. What does it mean the world is elevated? It means like, if you take a home and you want to lift it up, you have to lift it up from the bottom, leverage from the bottom, and you lift up the whole thing, right? So all the worlds are elevated, which means the higher worlds are also elevated. So if you're in the world of Yitzhira, you're elevated to the world of Bria. At that time, there's the elevation of the worlds. That's why on Shabbos you're not allowed to do work on Shabbos. Why? Because work is contrary to the world that you're living in. Ah, you're not aware of it? Just because you're not aware of it doesn't take away from the fact. The fact is, Shabbos, the world is elevated. It's a different environment, right? I mean, physically, it looks like the table's still a table, the food's still too. It's not. It's not the same. It's just not the same. And those who observe Shabbos kind of get that. We get it on some level, right? The food's not the same. People are not the same. We're different on Shabbos because the world is elevated. So guess what? It's not just this physical world is elevated, but the spiritual worlds are also elevated because it's Shabbos in Gan Eden. In the Garden of Eden, it's also Shabbos. But there's two levels of Garden of Eden, a lower one in the world of Yitzhira and the higher one in the world of Bria. And now there's an elevation. So the souls that are in the lower level are privy to that which is in the higher level. Which is, world of Bria. Angels don't go there though, because they didn't work for it. They didn't work for it, so they don't get. You got to work, right? You got to work for it. Now, everything we just said was about the abode of where you're living. Where are you living, right? That's what we spoke about. So holy angels, well, amazing, but not the same as us. We're greater. I mean, if we choose to be greater, we have to choose it, right? That's what, in that, we have the opportunity. Now, that's in where we are living. Our souls are living, by the way. Speaking about our souls right here. By the way, for the righteous, where is Gan Eden for the righteous when they're physically in this world? It's up there? No, it's right here. It's just a different frequency. A frequency that I don't see, I don't hear, I'm not privy to, I'm not aware of. I'm aware of it, that it is here, but I don't have access to it in the sense of being privy to it. Yeah, right? But it's here.
For them.
No, for me too. It's just I'm not privy to what's here.
But they're privy to it.
But the righteous are privy to it. Right. They're privy to it. They're privy to it. Many stories like that, and we're not going to go off on that right now, but but they're privy to it. They're privy to it, which is powerful. Which is powerful.
They're pretty aware.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Souls are connected.
So the Rebbe knows.
By the way, I can't believe it. I was just thinking about calling somebody who lives in Panama. Actually, many of you probably know from social media, Beryl Solomon. I gotta say this. Just like an hour ago, thinking about, wow. And as I'm speaking about souls and what we're privy and not privy to, he just called me. I hung up on him because we're teaching right now. I just had to share that there's what a sign from heaven. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Wow. Wow.
Connected.
Wow. Yeah. Now, souls are connected. There's no question about it. Wow. 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 I'm just, okay. Now, that's about where our souls are, but there's something greater than where we live. And what's that? What's good? What's that?
Intellect.
The mitzvahs we do
Ah,
is greater than where we live.
okay.
Because the mitzvahs is God's thing. Where we live is, where's my head? Where's my heart? That's where we live. Okay. But there's something greater than that. God's things, his mitzvah. So when I do a mitzvah and I'm motivated by the awareness, the intellect, the engage, that I'm motivated by that, then my mitzvah doesn't just live in the world of Bria,
Wow.
world of comprehension. It actually lives there with the divine attributes there, which are actually one with God. In other words, in the world of Bria, it's a world of creation. It's a world of creation. So you're living there, you're created, there's a me that's separate from God,
Mhm.
right? Even the soul. But when you do a mitzvah, now your mitzvah is elevated when you did it with the intent, with the mindfulness of because of an awareness of your connection to God, because of the greatness of God, because of the greatness of this mitzvah that you're aware of what the value and the meaning of it is, right? And that's what motivates you, that love and awe that motivates you. Then your mitzvah rises up to the world of Bria, but not living in the world of Bria, to the divine in the world of Bria, because not everything's divine in the world of Bria. The divine attributes of God, which the divine attributes of God are one with God. That's what your mitzvah does. Greater than when you live with your, right? If you're motivated only by the natural love that the soul has, what we call Ava Mesoteres, the hidden love, the hidden love that we have, that's your motivation, the hidden love, not the awareness, not the mind that feeds the heart, but the natural love that you have, the instinctual love, which is the world of Yetzirah, as we said, that's where you live. But now when you are motivated by that to do the mitzvah, like today you learned Tanya because you just a natural desire of your soul to connect to God through learning Tanya, right? That's what motivated you to come and learn. Then your mitzvah goes to the world of Yetzirah, but not to the abode, which is creation, but to the divine attributes there, which is God's divine holy attributes. It's one with the Ein Sof, with God himself. That's where it goes. Not merely to the chain birds, but to, right? And that's what it means, schar mitzvah mitzvah. That the reward of the mitzvah is the mitzvah itself. Meaning, the reward of doing the mitzvah is the word mitzvah, meaning connection. Did you connect with God himself? That's the value. Psh, amazing. Got it?
It's different motivations for rising from level to level.
Yeah.
Freedom of choice, mitzvahs, shoresh, Shabbos.
Folks, tonight we're going to have a Pesach symposium. Come and join us. I'll put it up so you have the info about it. Okay. Davida, is this the same comparison as about tshuva and the righteous? No, no. Why did the tribes have animals as symbols of each tribe, such as the Lion of Judah? I'm sure there's some kind of connection, but it's not particularly the idea here. I mean, there probably is, because a lion is, king of the jungle. So Yehuda, he's the king, right? The king will come from the king of the Jewish people, as King David, will come from Judah, right? So that's on. But yeah, there must be some kind of connection with that. All right, folks. Rambam is coming up again, 6:30 tonight. Come and join us. 8 p.m. will be 8:15 tonight will be TRC. Yeah, I'm not certainly quarter to 6. Yeah. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you, Chabad Zurich and Kadesh, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you, Tanya.